All right, sorry about that, guys. I ran out of memory, but back up and running. So let's go revisit number 2. Which interval has 3 students? 10 to 19 have 3 students. How many students? Okay, so now we're asking about how many students went to the pool at least 10 times. So that's going to be 10 or more. So how many went 10 or more times last summer? Okay, this group right here did not go at least 10 times because they only went 0 to 9 times. 10 to 19, these students did go at least 10 times. So these 12 went more than 10 times. These 6 and these 2, all of these guys went more than 10 times. So let's add all of this up. 15, 21, 23. So 23 students, because it's this entire group right here. And then how many students went to the pool less than 10 times? So that's going to be this group right here, because this is less than 10. That's less than 10 times. X is for times. Less than 10 times, 5 of them, 5 students went less than 10 times. All right, let's take a look at line graphs. So line graphs are really nice when we are showing how data changes over time. So let's go ahead. So we're talking about swimsuit sales, and let's look at the months that we're measuring over time: June, July, August, September, October, November. And I'm seeing a trend that makes a lot of sense. So when would swimsuit sales be the highest or the peak? Well, summer. That's when most of us are going swimming, going to the beach, going on vacation, and we need bathing suits in the summer. So as you can see in June, that's the beginning of summer, it starts to increase until we peak in August. And then from August on, when everybody starts going back to school and back to work and back to the real world, we don't need bathing suits as much. So those bathing suit sales have declined because it's kind of out of season for that particular article of clothing. So let's describe the change. So it increased, from June to August, sorry. Then it decreased from there on. Predict the number of swimsuits sold in December. So here I'm starting to see a pattern where we go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. I'm assuming we're going to go down 1 over 1 again. So I'm thinking approximately 30. Again, because that's starting to look like a steady linear trend of a downward slope there. And then predict the number of swimsuits sold in May. So as you can see here, it's slowly creeping up. I would say probably right about here in May to have that increase. So I'd say about 60. And again, it's because I'm seeing an upward trend. So I'm going to be a little bit lower than June, but it's going to be increasing as we head toward June. All right, let's take a look at the backside. At a thing called box and whisker plots. You don't see these terribly often, but I figured I'd share it with you as it does exist. A box plot, or what I call a box and whisker plot, it does indeed display our 4 quartiles, along with the upper extreme or maximum, and the lower extreme or the minimum. Okay, and so this is going to look weird. It's kind of like a hovering spaceship, but as you can see, this is the box, and then you have 2 whiskers that stretch out. So let me go ahead and actually label this first, and then we'll talk about how to do this. So here's our lowest point. That's the minimum, or the lower extreme. And then this whisker here is the maximum. Okay, so you literally, that's the 2 easiest points to plot when you're creating a box and whisker plot. And then these 3, so the box is what contains our quartiles. This first one here is going to be your first quartile. This one here inside of the box is the second quartile. And then this third one is the third quartile. So we did learn in the last lesson how to figure out quartiles of our data, and that's what's going to comprise the structure of the box, and then we literally just stretch it out to the lowest point and the highest point. So let's go back up to these instructions, and then we'll go through some examples. So the first thing we need to do is order from least to greatest. That's how we're going to get our quartiles. Remember, the median, which is the second quartile, splits up our data into 2 equal groups. So we're going to find the median first, then we're going to find the median of the first half of data. So we're going to find the first half of the half. So again, envision the data inside of this box. We're going to cut it in half. That's going to be our second quartile. Then we're going to cut the halves in half. That's going to be our first quartile, and that's going to be our third quartile. So we're literally creating 4 equal groups of our data, because then we find the median of the second half. That's your third quartile. So let's do an example, and then we're going to use this information to plot all of these measures of variation. So I'm going to order this from least to greatest. So I have 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and 12. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to find my median. So I'm going to go ahead and start crossing these out. Boom. Here's my median, or my second quartile. And now I'm going to look at my first half of data and my second half of data. That's in the middle of my first half of data. This is in the middle of my second half of data. So I've literally broken this up into 4 equal groups. This is my minimum. This is my maximum. So this is going to be the box, and this is